What's going on, traders? What's going on? Happy Monday. Welcome back to another live stream. If you're new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Before we jump into it, read what's on the screen. Trading's risky. Most traders do lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing you see or hear from me here or anywhere else is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. It's certainly not financial advice. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Also read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer, which says I stand to make money from links in my content. Now, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Check these charts out, man. Happy Monday, March 3rd. We got a fresh month. We got the US indices moving to the upside. Just going to go ahead and adjust this right here. This is my Topstep X Project X platform. I got 3 accounts getting copy traded here today. I have Tradeify loaded up in a second window. I'm got a payout processing in one, and I'm testing some wild micro scalping on NQ in another. Decided to dedicate that account. So I'm copy trading 3 for right now. But if you've been watching my content, you've been going back and forth, pay attention to YouTube and Instagram and all the stuff that I put out. Been talking a lot more about copy trading because I think it's a cheat code, man. It's absolutely an advantage, and I've been looking at it differently. So before we get into that, let's just get some analysis in, a little bit of top down. Let's jump out to the daily here on ES. Going to be looking at ES primarily. Been working out very well for me, trading this off the open. Looking at this daily chart, we can see what we had happen on Friday. Cracked all the way down below the Thursday candle, came down. Whoa, that's not in the right area. Make sure my levels are in the right spot. Prior day low, overnight low, prior day high, coming off that candle, overnight high. These are my 2 sets of objective levels. Swept below Thursday's candle low and then really formed a bullish recovery to the upside. We can see what happened today. We had a gap move at the open, and we've since just drifted higher through Asia and London. You can see it by the daily candle being formed to the upside here. Now, does this mean, okay, bulls back in store, we're going to blast through highs, come back up and test this level? Is it just a pullback before we're going to continue lower? All that's out for debate, man. All that's out for debate. But just looking objectively at what's happened so far historically, and then where price is sitting right now. Give us a little bit of reference coming into the open as we are opening up right here, right now, 9:31 a.m. Looking on the 5-minute chart, you can see the sell-off. You can see the real bit of weakness. You can see the choppiness down here, and then the nice crack back up. You know, we are at an area of high volume. This could easily just be a retest before continuation lower, but right here, right now, we have, bullish day on Friday. We gapped up, filled that, and our opening gap up. Yep, opening gap up. But we have a nice bullish drift to the upside for the overnight session, right? We really got below VWAP here, but came back, tested, chopped around, and then have continued to push up into pre-market up until right now when we're opening up above VWAP. Opening up above prior day's high, right? Just in reference to the prior day's candle range, right? The daily range. We are opening up, bullish on this from a lower time frame perspective. Real high time frame, I would call it pretty choppy, chopping around all-time highs. Looking at the daily, really zoomed out, looking over week. And then the middle time frame, looking at what happened last week, we had quite a bit of selling, right? Market was, opening up and dumping to the downside. So, going to be trading this on the 1-minute chart. Again, if you're new, you got some of my levels on here. Prior day high and low coming directly off the daily candle. Overnight high and low. The daily candle, you can mark it from the daily candle up until 9:30 a.m. The high and low that's put in the overnight session from session changeover. 3 VWAPs on my chart. The standard session VWAP. Prior day session VWAP, which is way down here. You can see how far above that. Prior day session VWAP, meaning it is an anchored VWAP to 9:30 a.m. Eastern on the prior day. This would be Friday. And then the current NYSE session VWAP, which is anchored to the 9:30 a.m. open right here, right now. Gives me a little bit of reference to work with here on the 1-minute chart as I get really zoomed in. I will also mark up 15-minute opening range high and low and initial balance high and low if we make it that far. So let's see what we got, man. Let's see what we got. I'm going to be flexible coming into these trading sessions on the 1 minute chart here on ES. I really have to stay flexible. Forming a super strong bias and saying buys only, sells only, not really going to be helpful. Some notes that I took away from last week are: don't hold on to winners for big profit. Small base hits, get it done, get in, get out. Don't worry so much about your massively positive risk to reward. You're giving up good profit. And don't go stop loss to break even. Reviewing data, not a single time have I went stop loss to break even and it's helped me here on ES. That's not true, but vastly more often than not as of recent. I just think with the choppiness of the market, I've taken some stops at break even, and had I just held and potentially realized a full loss, I wouldn't have. I would have realized more profit. So we got a little bit of a push lower on the 930 candle, and then an immediate crack to the upside. We are above NYSE session VWAP, but no big movement yet. Looks like we want to come and check out overnight high. Interesting. Nothing crazy at all speaking to me on Bookmap. Really nothing standing out on the ES DOM. Looking at NQ just as a reference, nothing too crazy on NQ either. So gonna wait for this to open up. I'd like to wait for the 15-minute opening range if I can. The area that gets put in from 9:30 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. Eastern, the first 15 minutes of the trading session, that would be the 15-minute opening range. Traders will use multiple different opening ranges: 15-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour, 3-minute, whatever you want. Can just give you, again, a little bit of a frame of reference. Those are objective levels, right? It's a clear, defined area. It's a very clear definition. You can mark it the same way every single day. It's based on time and price on your chart. It's not discretionary like my zones up here that are coming off of highs and lows, where I am using my subjective interpretation of where to place that. But good morning, guys. Good morning. What's up? Both January and February made sort of a doji candle 1 month. Sure. Is this pure indecision or are the indices just range bound? I think that could be the same thing, my man. Good morning. What's up, Brian? Technically, that could be the same thing. I don't look at the daily chart at all, really. But, excuse me. I don't look at the monthly chart at all. Maybe I'll zoom out to the weekly every once in a while. But, yeah, a doji indecision type candle where we have wicks to the top side and downside that are somewhat even and a small body would indicate, indecision. Technically, that's kind of the thought process behind it. Choppy, range bound, not a lot of direction. That's how those would be described. And you can see that when we zoom out on the daily, right? But again, I only like to go so far out when I'm like trading the 1 minute chart because it's just not helpful information for me. I will carry too much of a bias. And for the most part, the overwhelming bias in US indices is to be looking for buys, right? You zoom out far enough. That was a nice pullback. Back and forth through NYSE session. This looks like we might want to push to the upside. But yeah, again, I don't know. I'm not trading the daily chart. I'm not trading the 4 hour chart and holding for a week or two at a time. So, here on the 1 minute, I like to zoom out to the daily, get a frame of reference, just to get a frame of reference, and then start to drop in. Look what happened last week, day over day. And then how are we opening up right here, right now? What does this morning look like, right? The most immediate stuff. Where are we in relation to yesterday's high and low, right? Today we're opening up above prior day's high. Overnight high is already above prior day's high. We're above the prior day candle, very bullish. Above session VWAP. We are well above prior day NYSE session VWAP. But we have reference from the past week where we had a lot of selling pressure. And as we zoomed into the 15-minute, could this easily just be a pullback before continuation to the downside if we were just looking at this chart right here? Sure, absolutely. So again, just how much information do you want to try to tie into your trading? How much higher time frame, stuff. Ooh. So 938, not a whole lot out of this yet. I don't have a massive play setting up just yet. Probably going to be waiting for this 15-minute opening range to set, seeing what happens if we come back down towards VWAP, if we come up here to overnight high, we come back down here towards prior day high. Do we start to break below these levels right here? This VWAP and this level right here? Do we start to break above, highs of the overnight session and push to the upside? That's going to really give us at least some immediate direction because, right, we're zoomed in here on the 1-minute chart. This is 8 minutes of price action so far. That's at least going to start to give us an indication that we might see some direction today, or at least give us a way to trade with whatever trend is going to form. If we came down here, tested session VWAP, tested prior day high, started to push back up really aggressively, it'd be nice if we had 15-minute opening range low down here that we kind of like found support at as well. I would look for a buy back up towards the opening range high, overnight high. That would be the first setup. Conversely, we start to sell off through this. I'm not going to have a short right off the bat, but I'd be looking for a retest for a continuation lower. It's just some thought processes on what could set up, but nothing immediate, nothing here on this candle or the next candle that I could see. But appreciate you guys being here. Hit like, hit subscribe if you haven't already. If you're not in the free Discord, hop in the 100% free Discord. I'd be more than happy to have you there. Drop that link right here. Bunch of links in the descriptions. In the description, you want to trade with Tradeify, go straight to a funded account. Not have to worry about passing evals. Link is down in the description for that. Trading those accounts more frequently coming up. So here we are at VWAP. Testing right at VWAP here in micro ES. See what happens down here. Good morning, good morning. Took my base hits on that MNQ pullback. 3 MNQ, $200 on Topstep 50K. Should be done for the day. Yeah, wrap it up, dude. Wrap it up. If you're trading a funded account, your goal is to just have these small base hits and be able to realize the $200 winning days and copy trade. You're good to go, man. Good to go. No reason to push it. Maybe move on to a different account if you have other accounts to trade. If that's just a good profit level for you, wrap it up. There's no, don't need to give back profit. So down at VWAP here in ES, we do have red folder news, but it's not massive red folder news coming up. Let's go ahead and look at the news of the day while we're waiting for this 15-minute opening range set. Chopping around near VWAP. We do have, we got 945 as well. 945 final manufacturing PMI and then ISM manufacturing PMI. I'm not super familiar with these, but I know they're not traditionally super market movers. But that's a reason for caution. Could be a little bit dicey around the 10 a.m. time frame with high impact news. Let's see what Financial Juice has on these. Just checking out some news. We don't want to be we at least don't want to be unaware of financial news. Yeah, so Financial Juice has both of these marked as high impact. 945 coming up here in just 3 minutes, and then ISM manufacturing PMI at 10 a.m. So, we are here on the U.S. indices. These are, this is data that's going to affect the U.S. indices. This could be a little bit tricky. I don't really love that. Increase in volatility is likely around these news events, and it's just unexpected. For those, they're not, as far as I'm aware, they're not traditionally massive market movers, but the way this market's been jumping around, that could be dicey, especially at 10 a.m. But again, Financial Juice has that marked as both of these as high impact red. So caution coming up, guys. If you are trading, we got news in 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes, and then again at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9:45 a.m. Eastern and 10 a.m. Eastern. So I'd be cautious of that. I'd probably look to trade through the latter after we get through this 9:45, which could be dicey, but it's a risk. right? It's a risk. Something's got to be pretty clean to take, and this may make for a tricky session. But you do what you can, right? You still show up. You don't say, oh, well, I'm not even going to sit at the chart. I'm not going to not pay attention. But you're aware and you make a conscious decision. Maybe you say, hey, Zach, news events, I typically get smoked. I can't handle that type of volatility. They're too uncontrolled. I have no idea what's happened. I've had my stop ran way too many times. I'm not going to mess with it. No problem. Absolutely no problem. For me, I like to exercise more caution, and it depends on the news event for sure, right? Like, I'm not going to trade through NFP. I'm not going to trade through FOMC. I really don't want to trade through Jerome Powell speaking, unemployment claims, big stuff like that. And there's a few others I definitely do not want to have a trade on. I'm probably just going to get wicked out, and it's a coin flip whether it's going to be my take profit or my stop loss first. Even if you get the move right, unless you're running a really, really wide risk structure, oftentimes it comes and takes you out. Had we not have a news event in about 45 seconds from now, I would potentially be looking at this short. We are starting to come through session VWAP, holding below NYSE session VWAP, testing prior day high. We pull back, we form some more structure to the downside. I could see this as a quick short heading lower as we are starting to hold below VWAP, but we are at a level here. And conversely, we start to bounce right back up after putting this 15-minute opening range low in. I'm looking long. So we're at a decision point, right? We're at a level that I would say is at least giving us some direction for the morning so far. But again, I'm not going to jump into anything right now because we've got news coming up. So that's a dicey play. But let's see how this reacts. About 10 seconds, 5 seconds to what some are calling medium impact to high impact. Not a whole lot at all out of 945. Let's see. Yeah, bunch of nothing out of the 945. Although liquidity did come off the book. It's cool to see this on Bookmap. If you guys don't know what this is, my favorite order flow tool. It's cool to see this happen. It's kind of like your warning sign that the whatever this is, liquidity providers, liquidity bands, I've heard it called so many different things, the algos, they get turned off. Somebody flips a switch right before news. You can see this is just a minute before news, and it will happen again for 10 a.m. This will come off. Gets like dark and ominous. But not a whole lot at all for 945. We got our 15-minute opening range has set. I think this is my 15-minute opening range. Yep. There is our high and low coming off of the first 15 minutes of NYSE session. Yeah, first play is long from down here. Just really aggressively after 15-minute opening range to come back up into this. We did get down below VWAP, but we've got some bullish style candles here. We're starting to push to the upside. This could just be a really dicey play if we have to hold for the next 15 minutes. Like, I would need this to play out really, really quickly. I think this might, but it's a dicey move to be trading in between two red folder news events. Tempted to try it though. See what happens here. VWAP for a minute. Yeah, this looks like a decent long play. 10, 12 minutes to news. It's tough. This is a tough call, right? And I think I'm going to watch this one play in an effort to not get involved right before red folder news, because what happens is we're chopping around, we're moving around. Yeah, here we go. Support off of prior day high. This is going to be frustrating. 15-minute opening range high. But just 10 minutes to another 10 to 12 minutes to another red folder news event is dicey to get involved in right beforehand. I'd probably have to be ducking out at whatever level we're at. But let's see what happens right here. I'm interested to see. Maybe we get a retest and an immediate bounce back up. Maybe we sell off from here really aggressively, but this was, the first initial long play. Right as we start to find some support down here after swiping prior day's high, right around VWAP, just below. Stop loss, down below 15-minute opening range low, maybe allowing for a retest of that. And just looking for a quick one-to-one back up into this range. More aggressive on the take profit would be way back up here. 15-minute opening range high, overnight high. Looking for us to follow some of this bullish structure to the upside here that we've seen as of recent. Ooh, would not have been playing too nice so far. This comes back up and breaks these highs, or at least starts to retest them, heads towards this. It would look good for another trade, but again, I think I'm going to be stuck waiting for 10 a.m. I don't want to get involved right before red folder news. Again, this is what I'm looking at, guys. It's not a major one, and that this was a nothing burger. This literally, like, market hardly moved. But this at 10 a.m., this stack right here, just cautious to be on the 1-minute chart trading ES with a pretty tight stop loss. Can just so easily just get swiped directly out. It can work in your favor also, but I'm glad I didn't take the first buy. But I'm probably not going to look for another trade until we get through that. Breaking, retesting, looking very weak. First buy that I was eyeballing definitely would not have played nice. Would have shown some profit. That would not have been enough to. If you structured it really tight, you would have got close to a 1-to-1. But back down through prior day high, 15-minute opening range low. Interested to see what happens down here. Do we find any support, start to pull back, or are we going to correct on this? Head back down lower. That's what it's looking like to me. But gonna let the market move around for another 10 minutes. That's the game plan. Red folder news. Don't want to get involved right ahead of time. Again, I think if you're gonna trade like the 15-minute, 30-minute chart, wide stop loss, really aggressive entries, maybe you survive it. But I don't like to get involved right before it if I don't have to. Ryan, literally watching the stream. Power went out. Gotcha, man. What's up, everybody that hopped on late? Glad to see you. Happy Monday, March 3rd. We got a fresh month, man. Let's make some money this March. Appreciate you being here. Hit like, hit subscribe. I'm here free every morning, almost every morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, showing you how and what I do. Don't claim to be the best trader. I don't claim to know it all, to have all the answers. None of that stuff. I think that would be a pretty stupid thing to do. But I'll show you how and what I do. If you find that helpful, awesome. If you say, that guy's an idiot, I'm going to do the opposite of what he does, maybe that's valuable for you. But appreciate you being here nonetheless. Link to join the free community, 100% free Discord is in there. The other one that I've been pretty hyped up on is these straight to funded accounts. So this is now 35% off Tradeify 50K. So I'm the 50K account guy. I do like the 150Ks. Might test those at a later date. But the 50K accounts from Tradeify, straight to funded, no evaluation, are 35% off right now. Pretty sweet. Definitely different rules than a Topstep or like a take profit trader. You do have a minimum days to pay out. You do have a buffer and a consistency rule. So definitely important to read the rules. But if you have an edge in these markets, you're a trader that's doing well or doing okay, you want to put risk on the line, enough where you're going to buy any prop firm, you don't have to take an eval. Pretty sweet. They allow copy trading up to 5 accounts. You've been hearing me talk a lot about copy trading, watching me do it right here, right now. I got 3 of them daisy chained together here on Topstep X. And it's pretty wild, man. You can size down, keep risk very small, give yourself a lot of room to work, and just look for these $100, $200 days like you see me doing on here. You know, maybe we hit something nice, you know, 300, 400. But you're able to copy trade with these prop firms, and it's wild. You give yourself a lot of room to work. Yes, technically you are putting more risk on across the board, but your small profit and small risk is amplified. It's a wild advantage. Wild advantage. So on another day where, yeah, so that's Tradeify. Check that out. Does Tradeify allow dollar cost averaging? I believe so. I do not believe they have a dollar cost averaging rule, but let's check it out together while we're waiting for this news event to come. Got about 7 minutes. That's why I don't mind just kind of hanging out with you guys and talking. I think they have something against just dollar cost averaging, like into oblivion. Almost all of them will. But let's see if they have something that is something that says like no dollar cost averaging. Yeah, I remember reading that. That's why I quoted it. We do not have any rules against or guidelines against trading events, dollar cost averaging, flipping, or scalping or scaling. So you're allowed to scale in and out of positions. You're allowed to go for small moves. They have a micro scalping rule, which means you have to have majority of your trades, majority of your profit has to be more than 5 seconds in a trade. So if you're in and out of trades in like 2 or 3 seconds, that could be dicey for you. But even then, you're allowed to have 50%. But they have a comment on dollar cost averaging. So dollar cost averaging refers to a trade with multiple executions at different price points from the initial entry. Dollar cost averaging is allowed, but it should be part of a structured strategy. It's discouraged to average into oblivion, involving continuously adding to losing positions with no clear strategy until a trade reaches break even or slight profit. But again, even there, no rule against dollar cost averaging. So, yeah, no rule there. But yeah, read the rules. Definitely read the rules, right? Selling off here, man. Again, I'm waiting for 10 a.m. While we're talking prop firms, it's our job as traders, just like it is to understand the markets, you know, how they work, rollover, you know, what times they're open, all of these things. It's our rules it's on us if we're gonna work with prop firms to understand the rules to the best of our abilities, right? And if they're not clear, ask questions on the front end or decide, you know, not to trade with that firm maybe. But all the rules for everybody are different, you know, very, very slightly different. So I go through personally what I do, like for Tradeify, for example, when I was really learning about them, I go through the basics. I understand just, you know, the basic stuff. And then I go through the help center and I take as long as it takes to read through every single article in their help center. That's how most of these things are structured now. Like they have the basics on the homepage, but that just gives you like the overview. I go into that help center and I read through everything. Payout rules, any other type of rules around news, rules around times you're allowed to trade, what you're allowed to trade, you know, scaling in and out, do you have to have a stop loss? You know, all of these different little nuanced things. Is there a minimum trade hold time that would, you know, be an issue for micro scalping and stuff like that? You know, what are the payout rules? How does it affect drawdown? How does drawdown work? All of these things. It's on you to understand that stuff. So I would definitely read through the rules. But the straight to funded model is pretty sweet. Very, very cool, in my humble opinion. Again, different rules, right? Differences. There's everything's a double-edged sword, in my humble opinion. You're always going to have a drawback, but you weigh the risk to reward for yourself overall, and you make decisions. All the way down to overnight low. So again, maybe on another day, I'm taking an L on this first trade. We break and retest here, and I'm looking short right here off of this overnight low. That's probably how this would work out if we didn't have news. I'd anticipate an L and then a win, something along those lines. That might be what my day would have looked like if I wasn't waiting for red folder news in 2 minutes. Red folder news in 2 minutes, everybody, if you're watching this. Maybe if you're listening in. But selling off through VWAP, Looked like we were going to try to bounce and come back through. We did get a close above, but really, really nice holds down below. Back through prior day high. We got some momentum. We had a lot of volume on that one. That was indicating sellers stepping directly back in. Very, very clean play to the downside. Very clean play to the downside following this session structure, right? All the way down to overnight low. So let's see what happens down here. Let's see what happens after 10 a.m. news. Hopefully it doesn't present just wild price action to trade off of, and I can look to continue to try to flow with this market. But wait and see. Wait and see. Got to get some trades on, but not if we don't have a setup and not if we don't want to hold directly into news. Yeah, crap did no entry criteria based on previous levels up top. Yeah, man. Wait for your system, your approach, whatever that is. Everybody's going to be trading something slightly different, right? If you don't have an entry, if there's nothing to enter off of, no way to structure risk, if you're taking a trade, you're just gambling. You're not, you have no edge. You're just hoping and wishing, and that's not a good thing to do. You'll get lucky sometimes, and you won't. And you're wasting capital that you could be putting on the line for good trades. So don't take BS trades when you don't have an entry. Like you see me doing right here, right? 30 minutes in, based on the news and waiting to see what happens these next 30 seconds, excuse me, 30 seconds to red folder news. I don't have one, so sit here patient, wait, stay focused, and see if we can't get one on. See if we can't continue making some money. Requested a payout on Saturday from one of these. I'm payout eligible in almost all of them, but I'm letting these ones ride for a little bit longer. Here we go, 10 a.m. news. Woo! Look at that. Wow. There's our volatility to the downside. This is why we stay aware of financial news events, right? Maybe a reason to be cautious and not trade directly into that. Maybe you're on the right side of it sometimes. This one did not have a big wick in the opposite direction, as we often do. But let's see how this develops. We are down at a zone I have coming off of. This is an old zone that I didn't move, but coming off of these lows here from last week, the 25th and the 27th. This is obviously a very, very low volume area. Not a lot of price action, not a lot of transactions taking place through this. I think we could easily come directly through that down towards prior day session VWAP, NYSE session VWAP, to this area of consolidation where we did have quite a bit of trading taking place. But right now we're just testing that. Obviously, this would be our next area, right? Just chopping around this prior day high, 15-minute opening range low that we have. So, decision time, decision time. Look at that. Look at that magical zone, guys. What a genius I am for drawing a rectangle on the chart. Look at that bounce. I'm just kidding. I always think it's funny when people say that about their levels and stuff. If you draw enough lines on the chart, eventually one of them is going to look really good. You can just talk about that one. Yeah, but wick down to test that level. That one happened to hold up, you know, almost directly in the middle ground of that. Let's see if we're going to test overnight low and then continue lower and really start to sell off. Again, if we start to come back down through this level, I might look short aggressively. I think down towards this prior day session VWAP and or below could easily be in store. Just trading back across this kind of wide open price action back down towards this area of high volume. I think that would be an easy play. Don't know if we're going to continue all the way lower. Conversely, we find a lot of support here and start to reject. I would consider long back to VWAP, but so far this is looking like a short play. I don't really have a setup from up here, man. This would be really aggressive. I'd have to go with a stop loss way above here and be targeting a fairly large move to the downside. I'm going to wait to see. We had buyers step directly in at this level. I don't want to be short at a support zone right off the rip. Watching Bookmap over on the side. We do have some orders now at 950. 200 on the book. That is outside of that algorithmic liquidity. That's all the way back up here. Interested to see what happens up around this 950 to like 953 area if we come back up. Three minutes past news, starting to come into an area where we can look for a trade without worrying about too much volatility chopping in. Step into that 950 area. Got close, but didn't crack above. Let's see what we get up here. I'll sit here patient, wait for my entry, man. If I don't have anything, I'm not gonna gamble. Wait to go to the casino for that or something. At least make it fun while you lose money if you're gonna gamble. Filled out 950s, got some volume traded on that. Now, do we reject from here and start to come lower? What are we going to do here, ES? Or is this going to be a recovery all the way back up to VWAP? Yeah, I don't have a setup on this. Don't have a setup on this based on where 15-minute opening range, prior day high, and these two VWAPs are. I don't want to be short with an entry far below this unless we continue structure aggressively to the downside, and then I would go stop loss somewhere here, taking a break of these lows. That could be setup number one. From up here, I think we could easily pull back up here, find strong sellers, and then continue lower. So from this type of a pullback up here, I don't have a short. I don't have a short aggressively on the pullback. I would consider a continuation of the downside, more of a breakout trade as we start to come back down lower. Sure, we could just bounce here and head back up, but this could be the nice pullback to overnight low. And if price action is indeed going to come lower and start breaking this low, that could present a short entry from down here. But from here, I think we could just continue. It's an option. I don't love it. I'd like to see this. That'd be pretty sweet. Except for we don't go back in time. Something like that'd be pretty sweet. No, we're gonna turn and sell off from here. I'm not going to take it short from down here. Too much indecision right there. Not liking it yet. Trying to make a decision on what we want to do here. It feels like we're going to turn this into a pullback up to VWAP before a sell-off. We're going to find buyers here and just recover for a choppy day. Blast all the way up. This is just not as clear direction as I'd like. Breaking lower after a quick wick higher. Not gonna get long on this until we saw a massive recovery. VWAP's lining up to the downside. This is a short play right here for a break of the lows. I could see that, but I don't think I'm gonna jump into it. I'm not right now. Flow looks like. Not too much helping me out to the downside there. Yeah, I don't love this. I don't love this price action structure. It's just not looking fantastic. I mean, there's a short play here for sure, right at the close of that candle. To say that's our pullback. We had some volume on this. You know, we're going to continue lower. I'm going to short for, you know, just a retest of this low, a break of this low. Even if we find support down here, I can grab quick profit flowing with this movement to the downside. We are just back and forth down here, and I think we easily can put an equal low, sweep below this low before cracking back up, put a higher low, and just pull back on it. So if I'm unclear, just not a great trading opportunity. Ryan. About to get on these initial 100-point drops. Yeah. Continue further. Yeah, great tunes. Thank you, Trevor. Sell play. Yeah, I mean, it's there. But again, this is just, I may call it a little bit of discretion, which doesn't always serve me well, right? You're not always going to be right following your subjective interpretation of price action and market structure, but that is a part of my approach. I do use my experience in the markets to a degree. And, you know, initially, this is an okay buy setup. You know, coming back up here off of that would have failed. This is a sell setup coming down after breaking and retesting, testing VWAP and continuing lower. That would have paid. But again, both of these right around news, so I'm not jumping in right around red folder news events. That's just kind of a no-go. From down here, do I really have a clean setup? Not really, man. Not really. Sells are the play until we come all the way back above like any key level and start to really show strength. But selling before a test of any one of these levels and then a continuation lower is really not a setup for me. So I'm sitting patient. This could absolutely run from here. This was almost there. You know, this was almost there. Not terrible, but you can see how that'd be paying right now. But because we're below this level, these levels right here, which so often love to be retested, even if we are going to continue, I'm just not taking it from down here. And it may pay, may absolutely pay, but give me a second chance to get in. But I'm not taking it from down here. I want to see if we come back up and retest these areas right here. And what happens if we do? Do we continue lower? Do we find buyers to come through? Does this just turn into a choppy day? This is opportunity for yourself from down here if you want to jump in short. Maybe you go really wide. You say, yeah, Zach, I think this thing's going to dump. You know, I'm not trading the 1 minute like you. And I don't care about selling down below VWAP. That's where I want to sell. And I'm going to go something like this. You know, I'm going to target prior day low. I think we're going to turn this into a bearish candle, right? Yeah, see what we got going on right here on the daily. This could turn into a gnarly day to the downside, right? That's definitely a possibility. So, but I gotta wait here. Don't have a setup. Not clean. Just not clean for me. Not clean enough. So I can take it lower or higher. Yeah, you can go up or it's going to go up or down. I'll tell you that, guys. 2-minute engulfing candles with volume. Be careful if you want short. Probably should wait for some more confirmation for a short position. Sure, if that's up your alley on that one, man. Totally could see that. I would ideally like this market to rock to the upside today. Market open range. Brian's long. ES at average daily range and average session low have been hit. I'm long. So I can take it. Yeah. I can see that, Brian. I can definitely see that, right? Good opportunity. Even just back up towards VWAP. You know, back up towards this session open. We did come down to the downside. Check this level out. We found buyers down here on quite a bit of volume. I just don't I don't have that counter of a play here on 1 minute chart. I got to trade the low time frame if I'm going to be staring at the low time frame and structure my trades off the low time frame. So for me, call me crazy, even with every single one of you guys saying long right now, and not to contradict your plays, I'm still looking at this thing short. You know, just based on my system, my approach. I'm honestly sitting here wondering if this, you know, this initial as close to a sell setup as I would have is going to pay, but that's really the initial idea of what that would have looked like. But I'm not going to do anything until we come down through these lows and then continue, or come back up to these highs. Excuse me, not these highs. Come back up to this standard session VWAP, NYSE anchored VWAP, 50-minute opening range low, and prior day high. So long from down here, sure, I could see that happening, but just don't have the real setup I need here. Only long 1 micro, cut short from 72 with 2 micros. Very nice, very nice. $200 a day. Hell yeah, man. Making money. Love to hear that. Let's see what ES has for us, man. What are we looking like on NQ looking pretty similar. Dow testing VWAP 37 times and staying below. Not surprising. Yeah, let me give myself a little more time with you guys here. See if we can't find something, but it's not really frequent on the 1 minute that I don't get a setup. If there's news at 9:45 and 10 and being cautious around those time frames, it does cut into right when I'm trading. And then also if there's just not a good clean setup for me, I don't want to jump directly in. Consolidating here. This looks good for you guys longs if you're looking at it. Really failing to get below this level multiple times. I think a stop loss somewhere down here would be appropriate, allowing it to retest this low, come a little bit deeper into these 920s, you know, high 920s. But even if we are going to move lower, I think a crack back up towards VWAP could be in store. This looked like it was going to be it, right? Quite a bit of volume on that candle as we cracked higher and then immediately started to sell off, but that obviously was not the move, because here we are, you know, 10 minutes later, 8 minutes later, just kind of still chopping around. Pulled back up, chop back down, pull back up, back down. That looked like a low time frame potential movement to the downside. 5-minute. Yeah, nothing wrong with this, you know, from a higher time frame perspective for a long, right? Not a problem. Back towards VWAP, I think you could easily look to grab something. But not in my playbook here on the 1 minute. Let's see what the market's got for us. Gonna sell off from down here? It's just chop down around these lows. It looks like we want to continue and could turn this into a gnarly day, but just as easily can pull right back up. So if I don't have clear direction or conviction one way or the other, I don't want to take it. I think this is an interesting spot on the chart, and we will get somewhat of a decision made from here to a degree. Sure, we could wick higher or lower, so I got the risk structure presented that I need for a long or a short, but just not enough conviction that we are going to blast through this level to the downside, even though we are looking weak on the session, and not enough conviction that we're just going to find support here and push higher. I think we could easily go either way, and I wouldn't really be surprised either way. So that's a no trade until I get some more structure. We'll be looking off of these VWAPs, kind of see what happens up there. I would definitely not mind a short back down towards these lows on a movement back up there. We're just sitting right here at overnight low. Sitting here at overnight low. Appreciate you guys being on. Smash the like button if you're still hanging out with me. Trading this nice Monday, March 3rd. I'm hyped, man. Got a pretty good month coming up. I don't think we have a... earlier this year, we had like a lot of holidays. They added a holiday. We had like a lot of no trade days. Looking at the calendar, this week is a full week. Although we do have some news. We definitely have a pretty heavy news week. But no real massive holidays coming up this week. Next week is full. Yep, next week is good. Week after looks pretty dang good. Yeah, man, I like it. I like it. Very nice. Yeah, no major stuff that's gonna take us out. So it's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet, man. So looking forward to a full trading month. Finding support here, pulling back up. Brian, guys that got long, very nice, very nice. Send it. I'm still eyeballing short. Following structure of the day. Anticipating if we do want to just retest these lows or head lower, that could be a pretty gnarly movement. I'm going to look for a potential reversal, an indication that we might want to head lower, back down lower if we pull back up to this area. That's really all I have on the board so far for today. We come all the way back down to these lows, I would look for a continuation lower. So something like this or like this. That's the idea. Don't have a long play. I would need something like this. Chop around, do whatever we're going to do, and then start to continue. Be looking long, you know, after we are holding above VWAP, stop loss down below here, you know, take profit back up towards these highs. But nice aggressive longs playing out for you guys today. Very nice. That's the thought processes here, guys and girls. Decent plays to the downside, but, you know, through 10 a.m. news. After that, chop and consolidation down here. Not a real beautiful, amount of opportunity. Testing session VWAP right now. Let's see what we get. We'll see what we get. Long. We got somebody else long. You guys are long America, huh? Do your thing. Do your thing, man. But yeah, I'm excited for this month, man. Got some cool stuff cooking. Obviously, still going to be copy trading Topstep accounts. I got Tradeify loaded up. I really wanted to just, you know, if I'm opening up an account with a prop firm, does it really make sense to jump in with, you know, 47 accounts? No. So I've tested with them so far. I like what I see. Really, really nice. And so I'll be loading up on more accounts from them and be copy trading them. Be testing a copy trader for Tradeify that you can link to multiple accounts, and you can link across firms, so you can copy trade multiple firms at the same time if you want to. I'm very bullish on copy trading and very bullish on straight to funded accounts. I do love Project X, but I'll do what I have to do to leverage that. So hyped about that. Talked a little bit about social media on X and stuff. Micro scalping, just kind of by nature of having to put days in across so many accounts, I have to come back to something where I look at the 1 minute chart and I have to like get in, get out real quick, and I want it to be a win. And I think that's why, if I have to say like, why am I doing something? If I have something that works, why am I doing anything else? That's why I keep coming back to that. So I'll be testing some more with that. It seems like a ton of people have interest in scalping strategies and approaches, and negative risk to reward is a very, very hot button issue. I had a Twitter post do really well, like viral for me, with everybody and their mother commenting on it and either saying that's exactly what I do or being mad at me for even talking about it. So I'll test a bit for science. We'll see how that goes. I'll make some videos about it. I'll be putting out more YouTube videos as well, more long form YouTube videos. I dropped one this past weekend. Be working with some guys for editing and thumbnails and all that fun stuff, so I can pump out more content without having to do all the BS work that I don't want to do around it. But more strategy stuff, more psychology, mindset, risk management, trading with prop firms, ways that I've been able to take payouts, hot button issues, stuff on rule changes, right? Like everybody always wants to know what's going on with Topstep, what's going on with Tradeify. You know, information comes out, and I'll give you my reporting on it, my 2 cents on it, my opinion. I think that can be helpful. I watch a lot of those videos. I like to see those videos, right? Kind of know what the hell's going on. So still pushing back up. We had a little bit of hesitation there, right around NYSE session VWAP, the one that's anchored to 930. This looks good for you guys in your longs right now. If you took it long from, you know, down in the 40s or somewhere down there, very nice. This thing's paying. Again, I'm still interested short. I want to see what happens down here, right? I'm not going to sell the pullback as Brian Shannon and a lot of Austin's team quote, like to sell the weakness after the pullback, right? If we are looking for a sell. But interested to see what we get around here, man. It's a nice recovery out of this zone. We could be setting up for a little bit of a choppy day here. I think a retest back down to that area of high volume. If we pull up a little bit further, I'd be interested in it. If we pull back down, This would be invalidated really quickly if we pull one of these. If we come back down to it just from down here, anywhere into this area, and then come back up higher, I'm not going to look to short it again. I'd like to see this pull one of these moves, chop for a second, maybe put a lower, a lower high, something like that on the 1 minute, and then start to sell back off. I'd look for a movement back down here, right? Not even targeting a break of these lows, but just a VWAP, bounce type play, following structure of the session. But this might be it from up here. Struggling at session VWAP. At anchored VWAP, excuse me. Be right back, guys. I'm gonna see what happens up here, but I gotta grab some water quick.
For the ones who get
Back in action, guys. Back up to VWAP. Let's see what we get around here. Let's see. And I can see my music died and started playing an ad. I don't know. Here's our aggressive short from up here. Aggressive short for a bounce back lower. See what happens. $970, we got some liquidity. Ooh. Watching this one for a short. Looking for a short off of VWAP right around prior day's high and 15-minute opening range low. Again, really wouldn't need this to be a massive movement to the downside. What's keeping me out right here is we got like 200 lots on the book for ES on Bookmap on the DOM at 970. I'm not going to short until that's filled. I don't know that it's going to fill. Maybe we just sell off from right here, but we got a big stack of orders right above this high that we went and got close to. Might miss this opportunity. Dicey play, right? We started to recover. We failed to move lower. This could certainly be just a recovery for a move back higher. This could just be chopping around. We may not come back down lower, but I'd be looking at this as, nothing crazy, right? Like I'm not shooting for the moon here. Nice one-to-one back down to this level of, the top of this area of consolidation, maybe a little bit further down into it. Just something along those lines from VWAP. Maybe we do continue higher. And I just catch a bounce back lower. But I got something here on Bookmap keeping me out right at the 970s. That's a little bit dicey. Not gonna fill. It's gonna go, huh? Yeah, I can't take this one. This is a short setup off of VWAP, following structure of the day. Again, not to hold for a blast off lower, but just for at least a test back down towards this level of consolidation. Like, even if you're long, this could still play in your favor. We could both make money, but we got too much liquidity right above here. I can't take it. It's staying on the book. You know, I use these levels as targets. I think price likes to move towards them very, very quickly. When we get there, a lot of times we see volatility. So if we sell off from here down to 47s, you know, down to this area of, you know, high volume, that's the trade that I was looking at, and I'm just going to wrap it up. We pull up here a little bit higher. I want to see what happens. We start to come down lower. I'm definitely taking it short. But I just don't know if we're going to go and grab this at all. We may not. Could take it from here, but I'd really want a wider stop loss up above this level. Yeah, we're going to go. Yep, this is the short play that I'm going to have to watch play out. Bookmap not helping me today. That's what I'm eyeballing, guys. Yeah, this is the trade playing out. Yep, this is what I was looking at, guys. What kept me out was, it came back off the book too. What kept me out was looking at this stack of liquidity. I'll show you guys. Looking at this stack of liquidity that came on the book at the 970s. Pretty dang close to price. I felt we had a good chance to move into that. I would have liked to seen that fill before I got short, but it actually started to actually lighten up on the book. It's still there, but just not nearly as heavy. And that's my one-to-one play playing out right off of VWAP, you know, right here, like I measured out. Easy 1-to-1, you know, from out of this area consolidation. Even if you were a little sloppier with entry, stop loss above this high. There's the 1-to-1 play playing off VWAP. Yeah, on that note, I'm gonna wrap it up with a no trade session. Watching that one play out, I'm okay with. Again, not an entry if I am using Bookmap, which I am in my trading, and I got something up there that I'm being cautious of. But I'm not gonna look to jump into anything else. Gonna take a break. That's about hour and a half of me staring at charts. Come back, maybe look for something on ES if we start to get some more development. Maybe just play around on NQ micro scalping, but gonna be a no trade morning for me here on the live. I'm not gonna keep calling good trades and not not finding a way to execute. But we'll see if this thing blasts off back above VWAP. Maybe it's a structure to get long. Start to sell off really aggressively. Maybe this turns into a really, really bloody day. I think it can go either way from this level. That was my quick short back down towards this area, right into these, yeah, close to it, right at the top of this consolidation. But in any event, guys, I appreciate you being here. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you guys being here. Remember, trading's risky. Most traders lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing that you see here is a recommendation or suggestion to do anything. Entertainment purposes only. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer. I'll be here live every week with you guys. I'll let you know how I make out in my own trading after I hop off, as I always do. And yeah, man, we'll run it back tomorrow. Talk to you guys later. See you in Discord. Links down below. Links in the chat. Links everywhere. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks for being here with me on a Monday.